Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we begin, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events were happening. We had Deku, and we also had a few things. Number one, the public opinion on Iron Man is beginning to sway a bit more negatively, because Force, one of the guardsmen for Hammer Industries, they were seen fleeing the scene of a battle. However, it was a battle between superheroes. Force was seen being attacked by Iron Man, who was in a very heavily modified suit. He was bigger and presumably stronger. And whenever Force was just trying to retreat, he was attacked. His armor blew up, and the man was left injured and possibly crippled for the rest of his life. And that was very bad. Iron Man took the armor. All they understand is really that something happened and the back of the armor exploded. And this is more towards the area that is at the small of your back. That's the exact location. No one really does know for sure. But Deku, he knows he was set up by Hammer Industries. And this is not a good thing. Now, Friday informed Miss Potts whenever she wanted to understand what the fuck was going on and what Deku might have done. And Deku, he found out that Friday has a hole in her security. One Miss Potts can use to observe everything he does. Now, Deku, he was a bit more surprised about that. However, Miss Potts did one thing over Deku to ask about it. She gave him the blueprints to the arc reactor. And Deku, he was alarmed. Having these blueprints is something incredible. I mean, the capabilities, the ideas, everything. It's it opens up a new door. All he has to do is engineer, possibly take some of the stuff from Force's armor and just find out what that component he has in his suit does. The one that generates the shield. I mean, bring that into his suit and make a Mark III. But the Mark III was supposed to be his lightweight, portable suit. Maybe, no. He could make a Mark III and then actually make a Mark IV. But the Mark IV would be more combat focused and heavy hitting, like the Mark 2.1 or the Gauntlet suit. But maybe that's where he should actually make a bit of a design flaw. No, not flaw. Change? Change, yeah. That's definitely a word for it. Now, that is currently going through Deku's mind. However, while he was also designing his armor, he was called by Sasha, who wanted to go on a date with him. Now, the two, they headed out on Saturday, and Deku, he was definitely a lot more intrigued about a few things. Sasha is a girl who doesn't shy away from talking to him about things how he talks to other people. In fact, she just respects Deku because he's very outspoken. He's smart, he's confident, and you can't really trick him. He's the type of guy who will tell you things straight to your face and not beat around the bush. Because, well, she's not gonna lie. She heard about how Deku talked to her grandfather. And honestly, it was refreshing. Her grandfather's made a lot of mistakes running his own company. Even she has to admit that. Ever she's going to take over, things will be different. But for right now, the main focus, the main problem, is trying to act normal. She found somebody on the level, her level. But she's also been trying to keep her head low, not be known as the granddaughter of Justin Hammer, be known as Sasha. I mean, there are plenty of guys out there who, the moment they find out she has money, they may try to get to her. Or they may simply just try to throw themselves at her, or, Well, the list goes on. She's a pretty rich girl, so she's obviously got to be ditzy, right? Yeah, she's dealt with a bunch of people in her life, and Deku being on the level is incredibly refreshing. Now, with that little segment out of the way, let's currently cut to the two. Sasha's gonna pull her car into a parking spot, and the two gonna get out. Them currently going to head into a restaurant. And Deku feels a bit weird about a few things. Now, Sasha does try to ask Izuku if he's okay. Hmm? Yeah. Sorry, just got my mind up in the clouds. Really? Yeah. Though, why are we heading here? I mean, this place is a bit fancy, right? Hmm? Oh, you think so? A little bit. I mean, it's an actual sit down restaurant. I thought we were just gonna go, like, I don't know. Oh, well, we can do something else. No, no, it's fine. It's fine. I just feel like I'm a bit too casually dressed. I think you're fine. I mean, I look okay, right? We're still gonna spin. And Deku does talk about it. She looks great, but I mean, he's just in a t-shirt and jeans, and she's a little bit more dolled up. Fair, I guess. Though, you don't look bad. We're gonna turn and walk into the restaurant. And Deku, he does make a bit of a note on that. She thought this place wasn't fancy. He did. And she has a fancy car. Hmm. Okay, so maybe it's her parents. I'm gonna shrug that off. And currently, Deku, him and her do to sit down. Both of them going to order some food. As the two, they do start to even talk about a few things. Now, the two do go back and forth. Currently, Deku talking about a few designs on a few things he's thought about. And Sasha is a bit intrigued as well. And Deku, he does even bring it up. As for something for the gravity machine, for the hovercrafts, he will have to say, he doesn't feel like they're getting adequate funding just to be able to create it. I mean, they were able to actually draw up proper blueprints. He's done the math, and the science to check out. However, they can't get enough lift with their current funding. So, the project will be doomed to fail because of inadequacies. You think so? I do. So, what about you? You're working on anything nice? Anything fancier in particular? I know you help me with my projects, but what about yours? Oh, um, well, that's a bit different. A girl's gotta have her secrets. You say that, but I feel like your projects are good. Though, if you're keeping them under wraps, they've got to be better. So, Sasha, what exactly are you hiding? Hmm? Nothing. I'm just, well, a bit self conscious. If my stuff isn't perfect, it isn't worth showing off. Right. No, I can understand. You want to be proud of your work. Exactly. Also, I feel like showing it off whenever it's incomplete shows a little bit of weakness. I haven't really been able to trust people like that before. Really. Yeah, it's just a bit different, I guess. Though, um, if I am to say, I do have one thing made. Willing to share? Uh, yeah. Well, I'm all ears. Promise not to laugh? Sure. But whatever did you create? Now, Sasha will go to explain. Her currently bringing her hand out and grabbing onto a napkin. Her going to actually grab a pen from her purse. Her going to start drawing a few things down. Her going to actually slide it over to Izuku as he does get to see a few drawings. Hmm. What exactly is this supposed to be? It's supposed to be a new lightweight air propulsion system. You know, the idea for a moon operation? Right. And this is incredibly challenging to try and make. It's basically relying on a form of almost not infinite energy, but infinite propulsion. It's hard to say, but it might use cold fusion to work, but I'm still trying to work on a few things about that. If we can't get it to work that way, the idea is to cause a large nuclear reaction. And, in the best way of saying it, aim towards Mars. A large nuclear reaction. Like a warhead going off. Not exactly, no. It's sort of, well, imagine a firecracker whenever you put a cup over it. Yeah, so I can understand the picture, but exactly how much force would you need to propel yourself towards Mars? A lot, especially at sustainable speeds. But there's just another idea I do have. It's a bit more complex, but it is basically a giant slingshot. And it's also going off of the same simple idea. Though it's more focused about gaining distance from the explosion, so as to not damage the craft. I see. So you're relying on centrifugal force for a good portion of it. The two continue to talk, and Deku, he's a little bit more intrigued. A revolutionary. Intelligent, smart. Good. Now, the two do go to eat, and Deku, he does talk about a few more things. However, he feels a bit strange, especially because she's the one who does have to pay. And Deku, he's a bit curious about all this. Now, the two do leave, and currently Sasha does try to ask Deku a few things, wondering if he does want to head home. But Deku, he does talk about it. How about no? He's curious about it himself, but he does want to talk more with her. And the two, they do get to do that. They just start to talk and walk. They head back to the car and they're talking the whole time. And then they just head to a park. It was simple. It was nice. And the two, they currently are walking through Central Park. It's definitely a little bit weird. Being Iron Man has been an experience for Zuko, and, well, with everything going on, feeling a little bit more normal like this is definitely a change. But it does pose more questions. How is this going to work? I mean, if the two do start dating, if the two actually do start talking more, going that way, will it work? Will it fail? Or will it just be? He could let her in on that part of his life. She's smart and could help him immensely on a few things. But that's just a piece of it he's seeing. And Deku, he currently is going to actually bring his hand down. Him watching Sasha swing her arm up. As Deku, he actually let her reach out. Her right now is going to turn and look at Deku. who just grabbed her hand. And Deku, he actually doesn't turn and smile. Haruka actually stared at Deku a bit more surprised before giving him a smile. And that's where Deku's currently at. And the two, they continue to talk about nerdy shit. Anyways, with that being said, eventually Deku and her do get to sit down. And things have been interesting. Deku, he planned to actually be Iron Man today after the date. He's got a bit of a schedule to keep. But maybe that can wait. He wants to send Rhodey that information. He's been trying to see if he can do it through any sort of public record, but that's been impossible so far. He thought about uploading it to the internet. Schematics, everything. Hammer Industries is trying to keep buried the name of that pilot. So, release it to the public information, public records, and Hammer Industries should take a massive hit. I mean, he didn't shoot the pilot. He just hit the shield. And if they look at the schematics, people can tell where that shield generator is. It wasn't his fault. He shouldn't blame himself on that. But it's hard to say that, but also say he didn't have a part. He was chasing the guy down, and the guy was going to be taken in for questioning. This was just to make Iron Man look bad. He did act a little bit more mechanical whenever that guy was injured. He was mainly focused on the tech, not the person. Is he a bad person? That on Deku's mind, and Sasha just tried to ask him a question. Him looking up and turning his head. Sorry, I was lost in thought? Yeah. Too much going on lately. Whenever break comes up, I'm actually glad I'm have a bit of a vacation. Yeah, me too. I've got a lot of projects to work on. Her just thinking. She has to upgrade her own armor. And do what Iron Man did. He adapted to try and fight the guardsmen. But he won't be able to adapt to the next thing they throw at him. Iron Man should go down. And things should be good. Though, she's curious about a few things herself, though. Her and Izuku. These two could work well together. She brings him in on her stuff, and the two work well. She knows that he's not an advocate for weapon creation. He doesn't see humanity evolving that way. He sees them evolving more towards expansion. Yes, they will have to conquer the stars one day, but he hopes that it's not with a blaster in hand. An optimist, whereas she is the pessimist. A yang to her yin, or a yin to her yang. Certainly is something. That ran through her mind. She also wants to spend more time with Deku. It's interesting. Now, right now Sasha does actually try to change the subject. Her asking Deku about if he does watch anything interesting, since the two have mainly been talking about schematics and engineering subjects. And Deku would try to tell her. Not really, no. He just focuses on everything he does. He does watch a TV occasionally sometimes, but even then there's sometimes not a lot of good things on. Nothing that can really appeal to him. Sometimes he uses it to relax or just as background noise. But that's about it. Though it's been a bit crazy. Then on Deku's mind. And there currently is a turn to Sasha. Him can actually stare at her. And she does stare back at him. Her giving him a bit of a smile. And Deku, he does do one thing. He does go lean forwards. Right now him could actually give her a kiss. And Sasha, she actually is a lot more surprised. Her gonna actually somewhat lean in a bit more. And Deku, he feels happy. and she feels calm. Now, the two, they're having a moment before there is an explosion in the distance. Now, the two do actually somewhat go to jump. Deku turning his head and going to actually somewhat look down at his watch. Him is going to look around. Before he does get to see something he doesn't expect, right now him going to watch someone get back up as they do get a turn, looking around. Them expressing to everybody they need to get out of here, as they get to see Captain America. Now, right now Cap does a turn back to the threat, as a robot does get a step forwards. And Deku hears a turn, him grabbing Sasha's hand as he's to bolt off. Now, the two do get to run off, because of the current threat. And Deku, he feels a bit naked here without his armor. But Sasha's trying to get away. Let the heroes handle it. She's pretty sure Gramps is still building that damn suit. She could call her armor to her, but that's not good. If Detroit Steel pops up here now, she'd have to explain that. Maybe? Maybe not. Now, Sasha decides not to deploy the armor. However, she requests guardsman aid at her current location. Her pressing a panic button on her watch. As Deku, he decides to look around, trying to think about a place where he can call the Iron Man armor to him. But that's the issue. If he disappears and Iron Man pops up, what could that mean? The suit can automatically come to him and just attack while he runs off, but without a proper pilot, Friday's a bit robotic. Predictable? But that robot, he could gain some good data off of it. That ran through his mind. And Deku, he does decide to remain as a civilian, and the guardsmen, they do go to show up. Now, that does mean quite a bit of things, as currently, there actually are some of the other Avengers, like Hawkeye and Black Widow, they show up as well. And Deku, he does start to watch on. Him seeing some of the robots being shot down and being taken down. And there actually is where Shockwave, he does arrive. Right now him can actually fly down and blast out with his hands, as he has to blast apart some of the robots. And Deku, he has to watch Shockwave in action. Him going to fly down and bringing his hands up. Him sending out a blast directly to one of the robots, activating the features of his suit. And the robot, it does get hit with a concussive force. The metal denting inwards, as right now it actually does get a somewhat buckle. It trying to rush forwards, as Shockwave then does bring up his other hand. Him sending a blast directly into the weakened metal. And it does it cut through it like butter. And Deku hears it to watch. Currently the guardsman having a robot run up behind him and smack him directly across the back with its massive mechanical arm. And Deku, he does bring his hand up. Him going to actually somewhat bring his right hand up and onto his wrist, bringing his thumb to where his vein is. And Deku, he has to press a button. Run out the Iron Man suit in the armory, going to activate, as Friday does have emergency protocols active, aka body double protocol. Now, Deku, he does at least get a response, and he has a turn looking down at his wrist. Right now, this being where Sasha does a turn. Seeing Deku look at his watch, and Deku does a turn to her, asking her if they should probably run. And Sasha does a turn to Deku. Her gonna nod, as right now there actually is something does happen. Deku hearing a sound as there's a mighty Krakoom, and there actually is where the God of Thunder does go to arrive. Him throwing his hammer down and smashing it down to one of the massive robots. And Deku, he does his stare up. Him watching on. And currently Sasha does this stand there as well. Her going to actually bring her hand up and press a button that does it to stop her suit from being deployed, since the God of Thunder just arrived back on Earth. And this means quite a bit. Now, Deku, he has to do something similar. Him gonna actually turn and press the button on his watch. Him gonna turn back. As right now the robots, they are dealt with. And Deku, he does get to see everyone congratulate the heroes. And currently him and Sasha, the two do get to leave, heading back to where she parked. Now, Deku, he did enjoy the day, and he even decided to tell Sasha. He'd like to spend some more time with her, maybe. Maybe over break. Though, he is sorry that she had to pay for the meal. No worries. I invite you out. My treat. Also, my parents do have a bit of money, so I can spend here and there sometimes. Though, don't tell anyone in class I told you that. Right. No worries. Your secret's safe with me. Her staring at Deku, and her smile does go to soften, and she looks happy. Her going to turn and drive off. And Deku, he has to do one thing. He has to turn, bring his hand up and calling his armor, as Sasha does a drive away. Her thinking about a few things. And currently there actually is the Iron Man armor. It does go to redeploy. It's heading to Deku's location, as it's a flyback to the armory. Him currently going to land. And Deku, he has to walk out. Him getting back to work on a few things. It's going to be a bit more interesting. Though the God of Thunder, someone he might want to avoid. Right. That'll be a bit of a hazard. Note to self. Avoid Thor. If need be. No. Is there something that he could build? Maybe. That's certainly something. Deku gonna walk over, pressing the button in the elevator, and going to go up back into the warehouse. And Deku, he's quite happy by a few things. Especially because apparently Pepper, she knew Deku would need a lot more resources if he's gonna be making upgrades, being on the same par as Iron Man. So, she went ahead and got him a lot more material. However, she does make one thing quite clear. This is the best he'll get. And she won't be holding his hand forever. Eventually there might be a day where he's cut off. But that won't be for a long time. Though this is a little bit of a I'm sorry for what she thought was actually happening with the situation. She wants him to be better. It's what Tony would have wanted. That going through her mind. And Deku, he does understand the message. He gets it loud and clear. Get to work and prove he's a hero. With that on his mind, as Deku does start to compile a lot of material. Him walking down the warehouse and whistling a bit of a tune. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.